It is the 7th and final day of our TinkerCAD activities. So you see on the screen today what we're going to be doing. Today you're going to make sure that you answer all of the evaluating questions. You want to make sure that everything's completed in your design notebook and then that you submit your design notebook for grading. As you're working through these things, excuse me, we want to answer that question, how have I reflected and evaluated throughout this project? So how have you thought back? How have you learned from mistakes? How have you, again, that word evaluated, throughout the whole project? So not just in answering our conclusion questions today, but when you're creating things on TinkerCAD, how are you constantly reflecting and evaluating as you go through those things? At the end of this video, I'll put up a checklist that will have everything that is needed in your design notebook for grading. So make sure you pause the video at the end in order to kind of go through that checklist to make sure everything is complete. All right, so pause the video right now, open up your design notebook, and then we will move on with what to do in that document. All right, in our design notebook, now that you have it open, we are on day number 7 today. So again, we're answering the conclusion questions and essential questions. We're making sure that everything is completed in our design notebook. We've gone through that checklist, which I'll put up here at the end of the video, and then you turn in submitting your design notebook. Okay, so today let's click on the bookmark, jump down to the start of day number 7. As always, like we do every day, set a goal for yourself. What do you want to accomplish? It gives you something to work towards, so set that goal. Here's our essential question: how have I reflected and evaluated throughout this project? So reflecting, that act of reflecting means causing change. It means looking back on things, considering, being thoughtful about things. So how have you done that throughout this entire project? Make sure you answer this question at that point, or at some point today. All right, so drawing conclusions. We want you to write answers to the following conclusion questions. Please explain your responses in as much detail as you can. Give specific examples and explanation. And as always, we'd like you to aspire to answer writing complete sentences. It's just a professional way to communicate. It helps just make sure if we're writing using complete sentences that we really have complete thoughts and explanations for things. So make sure you do that. So the 3 questions that everybody must answer, blue background here: what did I learn when using TinkerCAD? What was your biggest challenge working with TinkerCAD? And what is one success that you experienced when doing 3D designs? All right, those are the must-answer questions. We want you to think back, reflect on what were things that were difficult. But then ultimately, what did you feel proud of, that you accomplished, and what you were successful at? All right, those are the 3 must-answer questions. We've got 2 should-answer questions with the orange background here. Why was it important to go through the starters and the lessons when first learning TinkerCAD? Okay, those starters and lessons, again, were from day 3 and 4 that we worked through. Okay, why were those important to use when we first started TinkerCAD? And then thinking back, like if you could really develop your TinkerCAD skills, okay, if you could really do this and you had those necessary skills and you could make anything that you wanted on a 3D printer or, in this TinkerCAD design, what would you create and why would you create that item? All right, and then one aspire to answer question: how can computational thinking be applied when developing an engineering solution? Well, this is a challenging question because most of you probably don't know what computational thinking is. So we gave you a link that you can explore what that might actually mean before answering this question. So how does that way of thinking, that process of thinking, how do you use that when you solve problems? And then you see a summary like we do every day. Again, what's something you learned, what's something that you completed, and then you see the end of day 7. Okay, after you have all of today's questions answered and you're done with the day 7 activities, we want to make sure that our design notebook is completely done. All right, so I'm gonna pause the video here. I'm gonna put up a checklist. Go through this checklist and see if all of that stuff is in your design notebook before you submit it. If you have any questions for your teachers, please reach out and ask so that we can clarify what you need as well. So here you see the different items that we're going to be looking at and grading in your design notebook. So go through this. This would be a great time to pause the video and just go back through your design notebook and make sure that everything is done. The letter in parentheses is the criterion that we're grading. So letter A is this is inquiring and analyzing. B, things that are from letter B here, that's developing ideas. C is creating the solution, and then D is evaluating. So do you have goals set for each class block? Do you have your vocabulary definitions? Do you have screenshots of your first kind of creations back on day 2 when we were just kind of playing around seeing what we could create? Do you have screenshots of your starters and your lessons? Did you complete and screenshot your keychain project? Other projects, do you have screenshots of those? Do you have answers to all your conclusion questions from today? Do you have answers to all those essential questions? And then do you have your daily summaries complete for each day of class as well? So go ahead and pause this video and make sure that all of that is done. If you have questions, again, reach out to your teachers. But get everything done today and get your design notebook turned in. All right, we will see you guys next time.